Hey guys, today we're gonna do a project I've been meaning to take care of for quite a while now. But first, we gotta uninstall the parts that are involved. I'm gonna be forged carbon skinning these interior bits in a different way I've been doing up until now, because I've seen a method that looks way better in my opinion. Let's go get them out.
I chose this trim because it has seen better days and a couple of clips underneath need attending to. I never tried this forged carbon skinning method before, so if it doesn't turn out all that great, I will just replace the entire part. If it pans out, I'll just repair it.
This is the mat and the cutter I've used before on the Kevlar, with very little success. However, if I didn't dull the blade too much, this should work just fine on carbon.
This is 88 grams spread toe plain weave carbon fiber with a width of 18 millimeters. You can do smaller and bigger width, but with a bit of research I found this one to be the ideal size for my project. All you do is cutting up a piece of carbon to get some real good looking flakes. As the base coat, I'm using the black XCR resin from Easy Composites, so in case you miss a spot, it will be black underneath, instead of whatever color you're trying to skin is. Note, I didn't scuff up my trim because it has a fairly rough surface to begin with, but truthfully I should have just gone over it with like 120 grit, so keep that in mind if you're doing something similar. I waited for 2 hours for the epoxy to become real sticky, and I laid on the big flakes one by one. Next up was layering on the clear epoxy to wet out the carbon as well as to build up some thickness. But this is where I made a mistake, which we'll get into in a bit, so you won't do the same mistakes. I applied 2 coats of resin, the second coat being applied while the first one is in its B stage and somewhat tacky still, as usual. You gotta be careful because when the flakes harden and they are overhanging, they are a real hazard. I'm using my Dremel to clean up all those sections as well as drips on the backside. These are a small drum sander as well as a simple carving bit. I gave it a once over with 60 grit for it to be safe to handle, and then I removed the tape on the underside so I can clean up everything before continuing with the full sanding step. The plan is to go through the grits 120, 240, 400 before clear coating the part. I set out again because thankfully it's spring right now and I got to it. But I'm gonna spare you most of it and get to the next part right away. This is where the aforementioned mistake showed itself. I sanded through in multiple sections, which meant I had to fix that. I fixed it by putting on a thin layer of epoxy before adding back a couple of flakes on the sanded through parts. This time, however, I added 4 consecutive layers of epoxy, so there was less of a risk of sanding through again. After this experience, I recommend doing a solid 4 to 6 layers after laying down the carbon. For your convenience, I skipped right over the sanding step. The last piece of the puzzle was clear coating it, and for that I'm going to use an airbrush. A buddy of mine working at a local automotive paint shop told me to swing by and they'd give me a good quality clear coat, because I didn't have anything on hand. That's why those jars. So, did it turn out perfect for my first attempt? No. But it did turn out great, and I like it. I'll probably end up doing a few more bits down the line. But for now, I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.